And we are live. Welcome to Hypno News with me, Grant Saunders,
And with me, Sean Koschuk.
the captain. That's such a cool kind of moniker, kind of nickname to have.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
been around with me since the '80s.
oh
Uh,
wow!
yep, high school. And everybody thought I was a geek then, so Jim wasn't that far off.
Well, I don't think I could. I don't think I could have my high school nickname.
Well, that was only one of my nicknames.
Oh,
And yes, I won't disclose the other 35 or 40, but if anybody ever did see my yearbook, they would be shocked at some of the things people have written.
yeah, yearbooks. That's something we don't necessarily have in the UK. The end of the school kind of time, people used to sign their shirts, and that was it really. But the yearbook photos, because I think it was so open to people to bullet other people.
Oh yeah, well, and that's precisely, in high school, that's precisely what you do, and I have tons of stories of what some of my high school colleagues did and some of the shenanigans that they tried to pull. And when you're at the McDonald's drive-through and the manager of the restaurant, and you're there every Friday and Saturday night, you know who's doing what, where, and with whom.
Yes. Cool. I wonder if it's our experiences in high school that draws us to the world of hypnosis.
Well, for me, it was. For me, it was as much of an escape as it was something that was geeky and nerdy and different, right?
Yeah.
And that was, that was kind of my signature. In fact, when I went to my high school reunion, all the girls there said, "We didn't know what you sounded like." It's like,
Wow.
well, you should have. You went through my drive-through how many times?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was that quintessential kind of loner. I was the captain. I was a dungeon master. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons
Cool.
with friends, and that was me in a nutshell. And some of that was just because transportation was an issue getting in to and from town, and that, and you're working. I
Mhm.
was the guy who'd work the canteen because I didn't want to be in the dance.
Yes. Yes. It's weird how it's kind of come full circle. Whereas, like now, I don't know about over in Canada, but I know here in the UK, that whole the board games, the Dungeons and Dragons, and all of that is now kind of really on trend. And so we've got like what were bars that were used to be busy have now been kind of transformed into late night gaming venues. I say gaming as in board games rather than like
Yep.
electronic games.
Yeah.
And so it now seems like the cool thing to do.
And one of the really cool things, and I can say this because in computer science, I've seen it, the class that I picked up here this last semester to teach. When you get people involved at a younger age in those types of games, uh, it can spark an interest in everything from history to
Mm,
religion to uh, you know being their own hero, basically. And then you throw in there games like chess, which has always been, perennially, it's been around, and it's been in the movies a few times in the last little while again, and starting to make a little bit of a more public comeback.
mm,
And then you start talking about strategy and thinking, and how do you counter what's going on with your opponent, and that type of strategic thinking doesn't come easily.
yeah.
And I know because in grade 8 we had a teacher. It was an intern, and he wiped the chessboard with us in like 6 or 7 moves all the time, uh,
Nice.
until we figured it out, and then we were good. But I also had the advantage of my dad worked with uh, someone who was the Saskatchewan Grandmaster at that time, or one of them anyway, and so that's how I learned to play the long game.
Yeah. And I think, you know what, it's again, when we talk about the games, like chess is one of those games that, when I was young, it was like that's not the game that you play. Whereas now it's like actually that's the game of all the games. That's the game you should master as best as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you think about it from even the way it's laid out as a program, the strategic levels that they have to search to figure out what the possible moves could be to come up with that one move, and yet our brains do that so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, you watch some of those players that are playing speed chess. They're just going, and I have trouble following them to see where they're moving and why they, by the time you think about, well, why did you do that? They're two moves ahead of you already. So, and that's the beauty of our brain, and I think that's probably a good segue into why we got into hypnosis.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great segue into how we run our hypnosis businesses. A lot of people do the training, whether it's stage or performance, stage or therapy. They do it that one move. If I do this course, then I'll get more clients, and then I'll be rich, and I can give up my job. And they do it, and it doesn't work out that way, and they can't figure out why, because they're only planning one move ahead.
Right.
Whereas, once you kind of think about it and you look at it from a battle point of view of your pawns and your rooks, and and actually do 2 or 3 moves ahead, then you're running your business with strategy. You're not just posting on the internet, you're doing it with purpose. And so, yeah.
And you liken that to the business. You can say the same thing about life. It's not so much a game of checkers, it's a game of chess.
Yes.
Because you have lots of things that are in play all the time. We all do. We have lots of things in play all the time. And how do you position yourself to win the game?
Yes. Now that is deep. Yeah.
Hang on, let me get my PhD.
Yeah. Speaking of PhD, it's PHS next week.
That's correct. That is correct. We've been working on the schedule. I know you just did a few updates here to the schedule. I was just looking at it. I have it on my second screen, not the third screen, because if I did, then I'd actually still probably be looking at you.
Yeah.
But and also kudos to the people that have been posting.
Yeah.
And telling people what they're going to be talking about. I know I saw Jeff Bennett just did a post up here fairly recently. I know Albert said what he was talking about. We got a lot of really quality sessions.
Yeah.
And that, for a conference that's only 3 years old.
Yeah.
We've
niche within a niche as well.
Yes, and yet we've been able to capture the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jason McCallahan just posted his as well, breaking into the wedding events. I know there's a few people that are really interested in that one here on this side of the pond.
Yeah, and it's one of those that you're going to get to that talk, and someone has got to take up that kind of mantle over there in the US to kind of go, I'm the wedding hypnotist in the US, and I know what such a massive market it is over here. Jason is smashing it with it, and so there is a great opportunity there for someone to take on that board. And then at the same time, Tom Silver's also at the conference, talking about halftime shows, which is like, boom, what another massive market that there's not a lot of competition in. And so, if you're serious about stage, you're going to come away with some tools that are going to be amazing. But getting back to your original point, kudos to those speakers that are talking about their talks, because we all know in marketing, it's about those 7 touch points. It's let people know what you're going to be talking about so that they want to be at your talk.
Yeah. And that's really where Jesse and Joe Beth have come in really, clutch in the last little while, interviewing everybody that is speaking. And, I had the opportunity to sit down with both of them and talk about what I was going to talk about. So there'll be one more change on the schedule because I'm reverting back to my original
the
title.
moment I I finished the PSD, exported it, I literally put it on the website, and I know there's already going to be another change. And so,
So, you know,
I posted it,
schedule it.
should
We
I take
said it.
it down? And I'm like, oh. And then literally at that moment that I was in the process of that, Casey went, such and such has said, can we change this? And I'm
Yeah,
like, it's changed, because I was in there at that particular moment. But
yeah,
we know that these schedules are fluid.
yeah, and that's exactly it. It's we know there's there's always an opportunity for change to happen, and we'll do our best to make sure that there is a speaker in every slot.
Yeah,
uh, yeah, again, it is going to be phenomenal.
yeah,
If you haven't got your tickets for even the online portion of the event, uh, grab them now. Get those tickets together, because that gives you access to the replays. And
exactly.
I've had, I don't know how many people tell me, like, I wanted to see, I want to see, I want to see, and I'm not going to be able to because I'm seeing this one already.
Yeah,
And so as you start, looking through the schedule and picking out the sessions that you're going to, take a look at what else you want to see, because your tickets entitle you to the replays
yeah,
for all of those sessions.
yeah. And it's like the lobby's open now as well. So, if you sign up, you can get in there and start talking about who you want to see and all that type of stuff. And just to let people know, I'm sure people know this, but when I was looking at the schedule, we've kind of got the 2 rooms and the virtual room. When you sign up to just the online, you get access to all of the talks, So we've got the virtual people that are just on virtual, and the in-person speakers in Vegas. We stream those out as well. So the whole conference is live streamed. The only parts that aren't are the roundtable and like the socials and things like that we do. But the general speakers all get streamed out. So if you get the virtual ticket, the virtual online only, you still get access to all of the talks.
Yeah. And so when you look at the schedule again, yeah, you might, depending on what your time zone is, you might be finished a little bit early or a little bit later, depending on when our group excursions start. We'll give props to Kevin Lapine for once again hosting us at his show, and that's I saw it for the first time last year, and then a Q&A afterwards.
Oh,
So now you have access to somebody who is knowledgeable. I believe he is the only regular remaining in on the strip as a hypnotist.
and and for him to do what like the Q&A does after his show is just it's so hands-on as well. So if you've got a question about positioning on stage, you're there on that stage. He can show you, he can talk you through it. He does a great job, and you're in his showroom. So if you've got questions about how to four-wall, the logistics of the room, sound, lighting, chair positioning, it's all there. And Kevin is so very generous with his time.
Yeah. And so that's the first night. Like that's Thursday, that's Friday night.
Yeah.
And then Saturday we jump out again to another performance, hypnotist, mentalist, singer, actress, song
Everything.
and the
Yeah.
multi-talented Catherine Hickland, who is her and Todd Fisher are just absolutely so gracious to have the group
Yeah.
back again.
Yeah.
We had lots of fun there last year. If there was any FOMO moment that probably nabbed a few people, that was it.
Yeah.
They put on a spectacular show at their home and fed us all, and we had all kinds of networking and talking time. Last year, I believe we had one of the guys who was a piano player, so we had some tunes on the piano. It was just lots of fun, and it was a nice, relaxed atmosphere. And
It really was. Her performance was just exceptional. Like I didn't know she was one of the original kind of singers from Les Mis.
yeah,
I did not know that, and I was sat there, and she started telling the story, and the hairs on the back of my neck just stood up. And like I said, not many people know this, Shawn, and I can't believe I'm going to say this on a live stream, but I am a big musical theatre fan. And Les Mis is up there with my number one show. And the moment she started singing that, I was like, oh my goodness, that was just incredible.
You know what? Even if you're, and I won't dispute that, and I won't propagate that to anybody that's not already watching or will watch ever. Uh, but I will say I can be a fan of the musical as well.
Mm,
I recall a trip when we were in New York, uh, and they took us out to Phantom of the Opera, and you know, in the original theater,
wow.
and just an absolutely stunning performance. And yeah, it's a different mode of entertainment,
Yeah.
and when you have somebody who has mastered that craft, they're not fly by night on
Yeah.
anything.
And,
They put
uh,
in some work.
yeah. And I think that's one of the things. It sounds like a pitch, but it's not. But it's one of the things that, for me, is what makes PHS special, because hypnosis is hypnosis is hypnosis, but the performance side of things is the thing that separates it. And it is that performance, whether it's street hypnosis, whether it's stage shows, whether it's comedy shows, bar shows, or whether it's adding those elements to your therapy practice. The performance of hypnosis is what makes it special. And when you hear a singer of that caliber perform a Broadway song on their own stage with all the elements of the stagecraft and everything, it's the difference that makes the difference. So I think having a place where performers can get together, talk about stagecraft, talk about everything that we have going on is what makes it unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's Saturday night, and then Sunday, of
Mm,
course, we have our award ceremony, and we'll have some special things there as well in the morning with uh, Aisha, and it's all coming together. Keep your
yeah.
eyes out on that schedule. If you've got a ticket already and you can get into the lobby, that is your most current, up to date
Yeah.
schedule.
I will say this, Aisha members, you are, not just welcome to wear your pins. You are very much encouraged to showcase that. Wear your pins with pride. Yeah, looking forward to that. And having had a bit of a preview about what they're doing, I'm quite excited about that. It's going to be something very special that you have to be there for, really. So yeah,
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, overall, are you going to have time to run off and do your own thing? Well, you might miss out on everything else the group is doing.
yeah,
So if you are coming in and you're staying over, there's the pre sessions, the post sessions. There's still likely room in the post sessions,
yeah,
and then there's a whole other conference coming up right after that. So if you've planned your itinerary correctly, you can actually be in a whole other conference next weekend.
yeah. Getting all of that knowledge is just going to be, yeah, you're going to come back from Vegas with your mind completely blown.
Yep.
It's amazing. So I'll pop the link back up in the comment section. So yeah, so people can, if they want to, they can, if they've not already, they can secure their tickets for both in person and online. There was some extra rooms added to the booking link, but I think they may have gone again now. But to be fair, oh, I don't know what's that. That's the on demand. That's not the right link.
That's the old one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that one. That should be the right one. There we go. Yeah, let's put two links up with the same logo.
Well, I don't know why anybody would do that.
Exactly, yeah. So I can't remember what I was saying when I said that. But yeah, most important thing, it's get yourself to PHS. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody, especially this year with what's happened. So yeah,
Yeah, no, 100%. It's one thing to see everything online, and if online is all you can do this year, totally get it.
yeah,
But make plans for next year.
yeah,
When you are actually boots on the ground, that's when you can get in on all the networking.
yeah. And it's the conversations that I had in the lobby.
Exactly.
You know,
And
yeah,
that is worth their weight in gold.
yeah. It's one of the things that, like, it's why we wanted to do the event, like the online one that has that little lobby area, to kind of have a little bit of that, but nothing still beats the in-person thing. But like you said, you know, budget wise, if you're umming and ahhing about whether you should, whether you shouldn't, get the online, you know, again, really reasonable price, get the online, have a look at it, see the speakers, and then go, like, do you know what? Yeah, next year I want to be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be there too.
That's even better because I don't want to completely run the show.
Well, the way that my stress level will go, Shawn, it would have surprised me if I just you. It's been an interesting learning curve, but we are only given as much as we can handle. So yeah, it is interesting. Cool. That's it from me. You know, going forward with Hypno News, obviously any positive news or any news you have about the world of hypnosis, any events, conferences, talks, lectures, workshops, or shows you've got coming up, then please do drop me or Shawn a message. We would love to feature it on this show. If you've got shows coming up and you've got ticket links, we'll put the ticket links in, do whatever we can to help promote anything in the world of hypnosis.
Absolutely.
Guys, for me, it is good night. And from Shawn,
it's good evening. We're almost tonight.
Oh, and guys, it's Shawn's birthday.
That's right.
There we go.
It's an absolute cosmic coincidence that my birthday happens to fall on 1701.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, if you put an NCC in front of it, is the
Yeah.
call sign of the Enterprise.
Nice. I love that. Is it a big birthday, Shawn?
This one will be my 53rd spin around the sun.
Oh well, congratulations. Cool. We shall have a slice of cake in Vegas.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Take care, Shawn.
Alrighty. Good night, everybody.